was more than just a television show. It was a cultural phenomenon, the warm hearth that brought 3 decades of laughter, country soul, and unforgettable characters into millions of homes. But behind the banjos and the bales of hay, a chilling pattern emerges. Did you know that many of the show's most beloved legends met shockingly tragic ends? From mysterious, violent murders to battles with crippling addiction and devastating illness, their public smiles mask deep, private scars. Join us as we pull back the curtain on the Hee Haw family, honor their colossal legacies, and uncover the shocking, often heartbreaking stories that defined their final days. Grandpa Jones, Trauma, and the Final Silence. Lewis Marshall Grandpa Jones was an indispensable presence on Hee Haw, delivering down-home laughter with his banjo and outrageous catchphrase. But behind the grandpa makeup was an artist who had faced grinding poverty and quiet mental strain. His life took a devastating turn in 1973 when he made a gruesome discovery: the murdered bodies of his close friend, Stringbean Akeman, and his wife. The trauma shattered him. Jones not only became the key witness in the trial, but he also carried the unbearable grief of losing his chosen family. The blow made him quieter, harder, and distant. Despite his eventual induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame, his end was marked by decline. After a final performance in January 1998, he suffered 2 massive strokes and passed away less than a month later at 84. His $2 million net worth was a modest sum for a lifetime of performance marked by a moment of unspeakable horror.
Roy Clark, the banjo player who couldn't outrun the pain. Roy Clark didn't just host Hee Haw, he embodied the American dream. For nearly 30 years, his genuine smile and banjo mastery were etched into our collective memory. Yet behind that magnetic stage presence lay a life steeped in struggle. Born into Great Depression poverty, music was his only shield against a world that mocked him. As his fame exploded, so did his internal conflict. He used laughter as a fierce mask, eventually losing sight of the man beneath the performer. Fired abruptly in 1957 for tardiness, the blow crippled his dreams but failed to curb his volatile temper. Quietly, he retreated into heavy drinking, calling it his way to shut off the noise of loneliness. By the late 1980s, alcoholism was a ghost haunting his life, straining relationships and leading to chilling moments where he'd pass out backstage while the applause was still roaring. His love life mirrored the turmoil. His first marriage failed in 3 years, and while his second, to Barbara Ruppard, lasted, it was marred by emotional distance and his refusal to face his feelings. The effort to be the happy man in public left him exhausted and absent as a father to his 5 children. Roy Clark passed away at 85 from pneumonia complications, leaving behind a $10 million estate that ultimately failed to purchase the peace he craved. Ronnie Stoneman, laughter at the cost of the soul. Ronnie Stoneman, the first lady of the banjo, joined Hee Haw at 31, using her character Ida Lee Nagger to blend comedy with the hard truths of working-class America. But the humor was earned through a brutal upbringing. The 15th of 23 children, her childhood was defined by poverty, chaos, and a father who forced relentless practice until her fingers bled, leaving her feeling she constantly had to earn the right to exist. Her stage laughter was a high price paid for bearing memories of cold nights and a stolen childhood. Despite her fame, she struggled solo, living in the shadow of her male co-stars. She once lamented, "They paid me with laughter, but life demanded my whole heart." In her final years, even as her health failed, she kept smiling for the crowds. Few knew the truth hidden under the thick stage makeup. fainting spells, and desperate nights sleeping in her car because she couldn't afford a room. She died at 85, leaving a modest $1 million fortune, a devastating testament to the industry's quiet discrimination against a talent who gave over 6 decades to music.
Buck Owens, the silence after the music died. Buck Owens wasn't just a co-host. He was a titan of country music, defining the Bakersfield sound with 21 #1 hits. He lived for passion, but ultimately, he died in solitude. His world shattered in 1974 when his best friend and musical partner, Don Rich, suddenly died. In Buck's own haunting words, it was, "The day music inside me died too." His creativity withered. Though Hee Haw continued, he became a ghost on autopilot, distrustful, short-tempered, and creating a climate of fear among colleagues who recalled threats and alienation. His private life was a series of failed connections, 4 marriages, 3 ending in divorce, 1 annulled. His romantic life was defined by failure he never grasped, once marrying violinist Jana Jay, only to file for annulment days later. He focused on building his $100 million Buck Owens Enterprises empire, buying radio stations. But money could never reclaim what he lost. He died of a heart attack in his sleep at 76, leaving behind a monumental musical legacy and a fortune, but also the gaping wound of lost companionship.
Stringbean, the brutal silence of the banjo. David Stringbean Akeman brought a unique, endearing awkwardness to Hee Haw. The lanky comic, with his old banjo and low-hanging trousers, was beloved for his simplicity. Born into poverty, he even bartered a pair of chickens for his first banjo. Having witnessed the Great Depression's banking collapses, Stringbean had a fierce distrust of financial institutions. He kept his modest $2 million worth of cash hidden in his small wooden Tennessee home. Rumors of cash in the walls circulated among entertainers, setting the stage for a fate as brutal as it was shocking. On the night of November 10, 1973, after performing at the Grand Ole Opry, Stringbean and his wife, Estelle, returned home. They were unaware that 2 thieves were lying in wait. He was shot dead the moment he entered the house. Estelle screamed, begging for her life, but was also gunned down. Their bodies were discovered the next morning by a neighbor and fellow Hee Haw castmate, Grandpa Jones. The double murder shocked the nation, turning the frail, beloved performer into a tragic symbol of innocence lost in a ruthless world.
Minnie Pearl, the price tag of a smile. Minnie Pearl was the soul of Hee Haw, the charming country gal whose greeting, "Howdy, I'm just so proud to be here," and $198 price tag on her hat instantly lifted spirits. But her humor was forged in turmoil, illness, and quiet loneliness. Her reputation was nearly destroyed in the late 1960s when the Minnie Pearl's fried chicken restaurant chain collapsed in a massive financial scandal. Dragged into investigations and publicly shamed, she spent years weighed down by guilt and betrayal. Her greatest pain came with a diagnosis of breast cancer in the early 1990s. Chemotherapy and a double mastectomy shattered her, but she transformed into a beacon of courage, becoming a renowned spokesperson for cancer awareness. Her journey ended in heartbreaking quietness. In June 1991, a sudden stroke ended her ability to perform. Her final years were spent in a nursing home, the stage lights gone for good. She passed away at 83, leaving a legacy of resilience and a reminder that even the sunniest performers can carry the heaviest burdens.
Tammy Wynette, the First Lady's tumultuous heart. Tammy Wynette
captivated Hee Haw with heartfelt ballads, but her life story was one of poignant, self-destructive tragedy. From picking cotton to becoming the first lady of country music, her journey was chaotic. She endured a cascade of stormy marriages, one ending in depression and electroshock therapy, another filled with lawsuits, and her fiery romance with George Jones marked by arguments, addiction, and even a gunshot wound. Her final marriage was marred by accusations of emotional abuse and financial control, leading to her dependence on strong medication. Under pressure, she developed chronic pain after a hysterectomy, undergoing numerous surgeries and becoming tragically dependent on Demerol, Valium, and Dilaudid. She died at 55 from a pulmonary blood clot after years of battling chronic illness and painkiller dependency, leaving a $10 million legacy that speaks volumes about the price of her fame.
Junior Samples, the hidden weight of laughter. Junior Samples was the iconic, bumbling used car salesman who brought 14 years of laughter to Hee Haw. But behind the easy smile was a life far from easy. He battled a severe drinking problem which fueled fights, anger, and loneliness. Though he kept a cheerful front on TV, he quietly felt tormented by the fact that his turbulent home life alienated him from his 5 children. He was deeply self-conscious about his background and his massive weight, which approached 400 pounds. This weight, combined with unhealthy habits, contributed to the sudden heart attack that ended his life at just 57 years old. His death stunned the entertainment world and underscored the reality that $1 million fortune, his estimated net worth, meant little against a lifetime of internal struggle.
The stars of Hee Haw left behind an indelible legacy of country humor and unforgettable music. Their stories, however, are a powerful reminder that behind every staged laugh, there were profound personal battles, deep emotional scars, and for too many, a tragic final curtain. Who is your favorite Hee Haw personality, and what does learning the dark truth behind their fate mean to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.